The rain cascaded down from iron-gray clouds, streaming along the transparent dome that shielded the vast hydroponic gardens of Outpost Eden on the distant world of Novaterra. Arian Holt stood near the central maintenance console, her fingers flying across the illuminated holographic controls, recalibrating nutrient flow rates to accommodate the increased humidity levels. Arian had spent the last 3 years as the lead botanist at Eden, dedicated to nurturing alien plant species that could one day sustain human life across new worlds. Her deep blue eyes flicked to the data readouts, checking soil acidity, oxygen levels, and moisture saturation. Everything appeared optimal, but Ariane knew better than to trust mere numbers. Instinct guided her hand, an intuition that machines couldn't replicate. Her senses alerted her that something was off balance, subtle yet undeniable, an unsettling dissonance humming through the veins of the greenhouse. Before she could pinpoint it, footsteps echoed softly against the metallic walkway behind her, and she turned swiftly to find Captain Marcus Reed approaching. Marcus, tall and lean with a thoughtful expression etched upon his weathered face, had served Eden faithfully as chief of security since the colony's inception. Arian trusted him implicitly. Marcus's eyes flickered with unease, and Arian instantly recognized the seriousness in his bearing. He lowered his voice despite their solitude. Arian, we just received an automated distress signal. It's coming from Sector 9. Her heart skipped a beat. Sector 9 was isolated, located on the planet's southern continent, thousands of kilometers from Eden. It was the colony's original landing site, abandoned due to mysterious energy fluctuations and unsolvable technical failures, nearly a decade ago. What did the message say? She asked, her voice betraying no emotion. Marcus hesitated slightly before replying, his eyes narrowing in uncertainty. Just a single word repeated every 60 seconds. Awakening. A chill ran down Arian's spine, a primal sensation amplified by the distant thrum of the rain. Marcus stepped closer, lowering his voice further. Commander Liu is preparing a reconnaissance team. She wants you to join. Arian frowned, puzzled. Why me? I'm a botanist, Marcus, not a field operative. Marcus smiled gently, reassuringly. Because whatever is waking up in Sector 9 is emitting biosignatures we've never seen before. Leo believes it might be organic. Alien plant life, perhaps. We need your expertise. Arian swallowed the uncertainty rising in her throat. She had studied extraterrestrial flora for years, yet the thought of facing something utterly unknown made her pulse quicken with dread. And excitement. She straightened her shoulders, resolved. I'll gather my gear. Minutes later, Ariane stood with the small team assembled in the docking bay. Commander Liu, a sharp-minded strategist with iron determination, gave them concise instructions before their shuttle took off. As the craft sliced through the dense atmosphere of Novaterra, Ariane felt an electric tension in the air. Below stretched an endless forest of colossal trees, their glowing blue leaves swaying gently as though whispering secrets no human could yet decipher. Hours passed before Sector 9 appeared on their scanners, a decrepit cluster of domes and metallic towers, long reclaimed by encroaching vegetation. The shuttle landed softly and Ariane exited first, scanner in hand. The once thriving colony site lay silent, nature reclaiming the structures with an eerie gentleness. Blue bioluminescent vines snaked through shattered windows, and vibrant moss blanketed abandoned equipment. Ariane approached cautiously, her scanner humming softly, detecting exotic genetic markers she had never encountered. Marcus and Liu followed closely, their movements deliberate and cautious. Suddenly, Ariane froze, her breath catching sharply. A whisper, barely audible, resonated within her mind. She glanced at Marcus, his expression mirroring her confusion. Commander Liu scanned the area warily, weapon drawn, yet Ariane knew instantly this was no ordinary threat. Did you hear that? She whispered urgently. Marcus nodded slowly. Not heard, felt. Ariane turned toward the heart of the ruins, drawn irresistibly forward by an unseen force, powerful yet gentle, like the touch of a comforting memory. They advanced through tangled corridors, deeper into the remnants of Sector 9, guided by intuition alone. At last they reached a central chamber, walls overgrown with shimmering blossoms, pulsating rhythmically in hues of cerulean and violet. Ariane's heart raced, recognizing the organisms from theories she'd encountered only in ancient xenobiology texts. Symbiotic intelligent flora known as Viridia. Thought to be purely mythical, they had never before been encountered by humanity. As Ariane moved closer, the flowers quivered, releasing spores that danced gracefully around her, luminous and serene. Commander Liu stepped back apprehensively, but Ariane felt only calm, clarity, a sense of profound interconnectedness enveloping her mind. Visions blossomed in her consciousness, scenes of endless worlds, ecosystems in harmony, a universal rhythm untouched by conflict. A voice, ancient and gentle, resonated within her, softly, reassuringly. "You have awakened us, Arian Holt. Humanity's heart beats with potential, but it falters on the edge of chaos. We are Viridia, guardians of life's sacred equilibrium. We offer guidance, partnership, a new path forward." Arian gasped softly, tears welling from emotions indescribable. Marcus reached toward her, concerned, but Arian gently shook her head. "It's all right," she whispered. "They're speaking to me, to us." The Viridia expanded, tendrils unfurling to gently touch each member of the team, forging an empathic connection, deep and unbreakable. The visions shifted, unveiling a disturbing truth hidden from humanity's perception. The energy disturbances in Sector 9, the technical failures. All deliberate, orchestrated sabotage by shadowy entities within the colony itself. Humans consumed by fear, greed, and isolationist ideals. Commander Lu's face darkened, the revelation of betrayal settling heavily upon her. Ariane looked deeply into Marcus's eyes, finding strength and trust reflected back. She knew then what they must do. United with Viridia, humanity could transcend the shadows threatening its future. Their bond with these ancient sentient Flora would awaken mankind to a new understanding of life, growth, and harmony. But first, the corruption lurking beneath Eden had to be faced, dismantled, healed. Arian turned back to Viridia, feeling gratitude surge through her being. "We accept your offer. Guide us, and we will awaken the rest." The blossoms pulsed brightly, colors merging into brilliant white, illuminating the chamber with hope. Arian knew the path forward would be perilous, confronting not just external enemies but humanity's darkest instincts. Yet standing there, hand intertwined with Marcus's, Commander Lu determined beside them, and Viridia's wisdom glowing within their hearts, Arian felt certain this was the dawn humanity had been waiting for, an awakening, beautiful and unstoppable. They would return to Eden and reshape it, transforming fear into unity, conflict into collaboration, darkness into light. As they exited the ruins, Novaterra's skies cleared, sunlight filtering through, illuminating their path forward, a new beginning crafted by an ancient alliance, filled with possibility and promise. Arian, Marcus, and Commander Lu boarded the shuttle silently, the weight of revelation heavy upon them. Outside the viewport, the vibrant forest of Novaterra shimmered softly, as if reflecting the newfound hope within their hearts. Arian felt the echoes of the Viridia still pulsing through her mind, their presence gentle yet persistent, guiding her thoughts toward unity and balance. Marcus carefully piloted the shuttle upward away from the forsaken ruins of Sector 9, his hands steady but eyes distant, reflecting the gravity of the betrayal they'd uncovered. Commander Lu sat quietly, reviewing tactical data on her holographic tablet, her expression somber yet resolute, knowing Eden's future hinged upon the difficult confrontation ahead. As they ascended, Arian's mind drifted back to the vibrant visions she'd experienced, filled with endless worlds harmonized by the Viridia's guiding influence. The shuttle cut smoothly through Novaterra's thick atmosphere, emerging into orbit where Eden floated serenely against the backdrop of endless stars. Arian's heart quickened at the sight, knowing that beneath Eden's tranquil surface lay forces working tirelessly against humanity's potential. Marcus glanced back, sensing her unease, offering a comforting smile as he spoke softly. "We'll fix this. Together." Arian nodded gratefully, drawing strength from his confidence. Commander Lu broke her silence, her voice calm and decisive, outlining their immediate objective upon landing, confronting Administrator Gideon Hart, the charismatic yet enigmatic leader whose decisions now bore sinister implications. Moments later, their shuttle docked smoothly at Eden's main landing bay. Arian felt a jolt of adrenaline pulse through her veins as the door hissed open, revealing Eden's familiar corridors bustling with unsuspecting colonists. Marcus moved protectively ahead, his presence a reassuring bulwark, while Liu swiftly contacted her trusted security officers, subtly positioning them throughout the compound. As they approached the administration sector, Ariane noticed a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The normally welcoming halls felt tense, foreboding, as though the facility itself sensed the approaching confrontation. Gideon awaited them in his office, his demeanor composed, yet his dark eyes cold, watchful, betraying a calculated awareness of their discovery. Arian steadied her breath, determined to let reason and empathy guide her words. She stepped forward, choosing clarity over accusation. Gideon, we know what you've done. Sector 9 wasn't abandoned because of technical failures. It was sabotage. You feared Viridia's power, their ability to unify humanity, and hid their existence out of paranoia and self-interest. Gideon's mouth twitched, his calm facade cracking ever so slightly. His gaze hardened, turning icy with disdain. Unity? Harmony? You speak of fairy tales, Arian. Humanity isn't ready to cede its autonomy to some alien force. Eden is our sanctuary, our strength. Arian shook her head slowly, compassion filling her eyes even as she confronted his mistrust. Viridia doesn't seek control. They offer partnership, growth, balance. You chose fear over understanding, isolation over unity. That path only leads to destruction. Gideon's fingers twitched against the polished desk, betraying inner turmoil masked beneath his defiance. Suddenly, alarms shrieked through the station and emergency lights bathed the room in crimson, signaling critical system failures. Marcus immediately scanned his wrist console, his voice tight, urgent. Power fluctuations originating from the core reactor. It's destabilizing rapidly. Eden is at risk. Commander Liu narrowed her eyes sharply at Gideon, who now appeared genuinely startled, uncertainty cracking through his calculated confidence. "This wasn't my doing," he whispered, voice faltering for the first time. Iron's heart sank, realizing a greater betrayal at play. Gideon had been manipulated himself, merely a pawn in a larger game of distrust orchestrated by someone far more ruthless. Liu's tactical screen suddenly blinked, showing unauthorized signals accessing Eden's central control. A sabotage initiated remotely, beyond Gideon's capability. Arian closed her eyes briefly, feeling Viridia's soothing presence guide her thoughts toward clarity. She knew now what had to be done. Their connection to Viridia offered the only hope of salvation. Arian moved swiftly to Gideon, gripping his hand firmly yet kindly, her tone resolute. "Help us stop this! You still have a choice!" Gideon hesitated, his inner conflict visibly warring across his features before finally nodding, surrendering his mistrust. United, they raced through corridors pulsating with panic, arriving breathlessly at Eden's central reactor chamber, its heart glowing dangerously unstable, energy crackling chaotically around them. Arian felt Viridia's energy humming through her veins, calm yet immensely powerful. As Marcus worked desperately at the reactor console to stabilize the energy flow, Arian stepped forward, sensing an intuitive path guided by Viridia's ancient wisdom. She stretched her hand toward the reactor, channeling Viridia's gentle harmony directly into the surging chaos, coaxing it into rhythmic alignment. Brilliant streams of cerulean light intertwined gracefully with the reactor's core, gradually stabilizing its chaotic pulse. Aaron felt immense strain ripple through her body, yet Viridia's presence sustained her, bolstering her endurance with profound serenity. As the energy finally settled, Eden's alarms faded into silence, replaced by astonished relief echoing through the colony. Aaron turned, breathless, yet smiling, feeling Marcus's arms immediately encircle her protectively. Gideon stood shaken, humbled, watching the tranquil energy glow steadily, a physical manifestation of the balance he'd long resisted. Commander Loyal placed a steadying hand upon Gideon's shoulder, speaking quietly yet firmly. "You see now, Viridia's unity is not surrender, it's empowerment. Eden can grow stronger, wiser, together." In the days that followed, Eden transformed profoundly under Arian's guidance. Working closely with Marcus and Leo to integrate Viridia's teachings, trust gradually replaced suspicion. Unity supplanted division. Gideon, now committed fully to redemption, became a voice for cooperation, recognizing humanity's strength not in isolation, but interconnectedness. Yet, amid this newfound harmony, Arian sensed Viridia still gently reaching deeper into humanity's consciousness, preparing them for something more profound. And soon Viridia revealed its deeper truth. Novaterra was merely the first world, humanity merely one species in a far grander cosmic tapestry. Arian stood beneath the stars, Marcus by her side, staring upward in awe as a vast fleet of alien vessels materialized, gracefully emerging from warp space, radiant and peaceful. Viridia's whispers filled Arian's heart. "You have shown readiness. You embraced unity over fear. Welcome now the infinite wonders awaiting your kind. Arion smiled softly, eyes sparkling with tears of joy, grasping Marcus' hand tightly as humanity took its first steps into a boundless, interconnected universe, forever changed by an act of courage, compassion, and trust. The stars above were no longer just distant lights in the night sky. They were the markers of a new era. Ariana stood on the observation deck, her fingers grazing the cold glass, eyes reflecting the shimmering lights of the fleet now parked in orbit above Eden. The alien ships, vast and elegant, hovered with an almost divine presence, yet there was something else there too, something deeper, a truth that lingered just beyond her understanding. Marcus stood next to her, his gaze also fixed on the glowing vessels, but his expression was more contemplative, tinged with uncertainty. "Do you ever wonder, Ariane?" he began softly, his voice carrying the weight of all they had endured. "If we're ready for what's coming next? If humanity is ready?" Ariane turned to him, her face softened by a quiet, knowing smile. "We've always been ready, Marcus. We just didn't know it until now." The bridge of the Eden station was alive with activity as the alien ships, a fleet belonging to the Viridia, transmitted their first official message. The holographic projector in front of them flickered to life, showing the image of the Viridia ambassador, a towering figure made of fluid, shifting light. It was a being of immense grace, the light rippling with a tranquil energy, its voice both foreign and familiar at the same time. "We are the Viridia, the architects of unity," the ambassador's voice echoed through the chamber, reverberating in their minds as much as through the speakers. "We have witnessed the rise of your kind, seen your capacity for both creation and destruction. You stand at the precipice of a new age, one where the bonds of isolation dissolve and the true strength of intergalactic harmony is realized. But this path is not without cost." Arian felt a strange pull in her chest, as though the ambassador's words were not just heard, but felt deep within her very being. She had known this moment was coming. The unity they had embraced, the alliance with Viridia, had unlocked something deeper within her, something not entirely human. "You have chosen the path of cooperation, of trust. But trust is not a gift easily earned. It is a bond forged through sacrifice," the Viridia ambassador continued. The projection shimmered, and the light dimmed slightly as if the gravity of the words weighed on the entire station. "Tell us what is to come," Ariane said, her voice steady but carrying an edge of urgency. "The universe is vast," the ambassador replied, its form glowing ever brighter, "and there are forces at play beyond even our reach. Our alliance with you is not simply an invitation to share knowledge, but a preparation for something far greater. You are not alone in this galaxy. There are others who seek to control, to dominate, who will see your unity as a threat. We have foreseen a coming conflict, a battle that will determine whether your species and all who ally with you will rise or fall." The projection faltered for a moment, as though the ambassador was struggling with how much to reveal. Then, in a more somber tone, it spoke again. "There is an ancient power, one that predates even our own race. They are known as the Nihilith, creatures of shadow and void who seek to unravel the fabric of existence itself. They are coming for you, Arian, and you must be ready." A chill ran through her spine. The name Nihilith sent ripples of dread through her mind. She had heard whispers of such beings before, but they had always been relegated to myth and ancient lore, stories passed down by the oldest civilizations. To think they were real, to think they were coming, it was a terror beyond comprehension. "We have prepared you," the ambassador continued, its voice now reverberating with an almost sad finality. "But the path ahead is one of sacrifice. You will have to make choices that will define your people's future. The Viridia cannot fight this battle for you, but we will stand with you. However, your victory will depend on your willingness to accept the truth of the power that lies within." As the ambassador's words echoed in the chamber, a sudden shockwave reverberated through Eden. The station trembled, as alarms blared to life, warning of an incoming fleet, one that was unlike anything they had ever seen. Through the viewport, the skies were suddenly filled with dark ships, their hulls seeming to absorb the light around them. They were unlike the Viridians' luminous, graceful vessels. These ships were jagged, menacing, crafted from a material that seemed to devour the very light itself. The Nihilith had arrived. "Prepare yourselves," Commander Lu's voice cut through the chaos. "All personnel to battle stations." The room was a whirlwind of motion as soldiers, engineers, and strategists scrambled to their positions. The once serene atmosphere of Eden had been replaced by urgency, by the understanding that this moment was not just another battle, it was the battle for their survival. The Nihilith were not simply invaders. They were destroyers, and their arrival meant that everything they had worked for, everything Ariane had hoped for, was now at risk. Ariane's heart pounded in her chest as she looked to Marcus, her voice steady but filled with emotion. We're not just fighting for Eden anymore. We're fighting for the future of every world, every species that's ever dared to dream of peace. Marcus nodded, his expression resolute, but the weight of the moment was clear in his eyes. He knew the risks. He knew what this battle could cost. We're in this together, he said, gripping her hand tightly. As the Nihilith ships moved closer, their weapons powering up, Ariane could feel the pull of the Viridia's energy within her, surging stronger than ever. It was as if the very essence of the universe was reaching out to her, urging her to embrace what she had yet to fully understand. This was no longer just a fight against an enemy. It was a battle for the very soul of existence. The Nihilith, ancient beings of destruction, sought to unravel the threads that bound everything together. But Ariane had seen, through her connection with Viridia, the potential for something far greater. A vision, glowing with clarity, filled her mind. The Viridia had given her a gift, a key to unlocking a power that lay dormant within humanity, a power born not of violence, but of unity, of creation, of love. Hold the line, Commander Lu shouted, rallying the troops as the first wave of Nihilith ships fired their devastating weapons at Eden's outer defenses. The sky above Eden erupted in a storm of light and fire, but Ariane knew there was more to be done. The future of the universe itself rested on this moment. Ariane closed her eyes and reached deep within herself, allowing the Viridia's energy to flow through her completely. She felt it, felt the unity, felt the potential for an entirely new reality, one where destruction was not the answer. With a deep breath, she opened her eyes and, with a final surge of willpower, channeled the Viridia's power into the heart of the enemy. The wave of energy cascaded outward, a brilliant beam of pure, radiant force that struck the Nihilist ships with an intensity that seemed to split the very fabric of space. The darkness of the Nihilith began to unravel, their ships faltering, their power waning. But just as victory seemed within reach, a deep, resonating voice echoed through Ariane's mind. You cannot destroy us. We are not your enemy, the voice whispered, an overwhelming presence filling her thoughts. We are the balance, the void. In that moment, Ariane realized the truth. The Nihilith were not just destroyers. They were the counterbalance to the Viridia's creation. The universe needed both. Just as night needs day, destruction needs creation. They were not enemies. They were the universe's eternal dance. And so Ariane made the ultimate choice. She would not destroy the Nihilith. She would unify them as she had done with the Viridia. The energy surged once more, not to obliterate, but to harmonize, to merge the forces of creation and destruction into a single, unified whole. The Nihilith ships began to glow, not with malice, but with the same radiant light that the Viridia had shared. The battle was over, not with annihilation, but with understanding. Ariane, standing amidst the stars, knew that the universe was no longer a battlefield. It was a canvas, and humanity had just taken its first steps toward painting its place in it. The future was not written in blood, it was written in unity.